Okay guys, today we want to look at plumbing. So what we're going to start off with is our direct cold water system. So in our direct cold water system, I'm just going to do pretty much the same for all these questions. We're going to have our ground floor, we're going to have our first floor, and then we're going to have our attic. So in the direct cold water system, our water is going to come into your house. It's going to go straight up into your attic. In your attic, you are going to have your hot water system or your cistern. Now, in the cold water system, and only in the cold water system, you are going to have a 115 litre cistern. Now, that's coming in. I'm going to have a little stop valve here, knocking everything off. And of course, we'll have a stop valve when the water is coming into your house. So here's it coming in, ground floor, first floor, the whole way up. In the first floor, we're going to take a feed off, and that's for your kitchen. Then we'll take another feed off for randomly for a bathroom. So if I do 3 pipes coming out of this, so we'll have our toilet, our sink, wash hand basin, and our bath. Now, all of these are diameter 15 millimeters pipes. And we'll have a valve before it gets into the bathroom just to knock off any water if it goes in. Now, all these 15. Now, this is really important in this system that this is 15 millimeters, because in every other system, it is going to be bigger than 15 millimeters. They are going to be, your bath is going to be a diameter 12. Now, if I continue on, out of your, we'll have a little ball cock up here, which lets the water in. Grand. We'll have an overflow pipe. Now the overflow will be diameter 22 millimeters. So the water coming into your house, the water going out of your overflow is going to be always be bigger. And then we'll take a leaf off, going down and into your water cylinder. That's 135 litre cylinder. And we'll stick another drain valve here at the bottom. Yeah, so that is my direct cold water system. To be honest, this system, it doesn't come up that often. It's not really used in houses anymore, so wouldn't spend a huge amount of time looking at that one. Let's look at our indirect cold water. So indirect is the most common kind of one that we do in houses. So it's still in view. So I'm going to have, same as before, first floor, attic. Now, in my indirect system, I am going to have pretty much the same kind of setup coming in. So I'm going to have my water coming in, up and into the attic, up in the attic. Now, this is our standard water cistern up in the attic, so it is going to be 230 litre cistern in the attic. Now, we'll have little valves coming into the house. We'll have a stop valve and a drain valve. Oh, so sure, that's very badly drawn up. So a stop valve and a drain valve coming in. I will take cold water off. We always take cold water off our main one for our kitchen, because we want the water we drink in our kitchen to be fresh. We want it to be proper drinking water. We don't want it to be stale or stagnant, or maybe get some bugs or something from your attic into your drinking water. So this water that goes in is always fresh water. This is a diameter 15 millimeter rising, and that goes the whole rising main. Sorry. That goes the whole way up into our attic. In our attic, we are going to have our ball cock again coming in, and we are going to have our, same as before, overflow, diameter 22 overflow. Now, so my kitchen sorted. In our indirect system, we take another branch off our water coming down. We're going to have a little valve on it. So if I ever need to switch things on or off, I can. Come across. Where 2 pipes meet, you do it an arc over, and in here into my bathrooms. Now we'll put 3 pipes up. So my toilet is diameter 15 millimeters. My wash hand basin is diameter 15. And last but not least, my bath is diameter 22 millimeters. Now, that's where indirect, it is always in 22. So that's the cold water in your whole house system, basically set up. The other thing is, in this, we need to go down to our hot water cylinder. So we're going to take another pipe off, going down, bring it in, and we will have our hot water cylinder here. And our water just goes into that. 135 litres. So there's my hot water cylinder, sorry. So that's how my water flows around this one. Always in, you'll always have two valves, a stop valve, a drain valve. The cold water goes to your sink, everything is into the attic, and then everything is from your attic tank is fed down into the rest of your house. 15 millimeter pipes, except for my bath is diameter 22, and sorry, this cold feed is diameter 22, goes to the tank. Okay, so that's my indirect hot, my indirect cold. Now, let's look at my direct hot system. Now, this system is never really used because it's not practical really. So, let's do the same setup as before. Ground floor, first floor, up into my attic. Now, let's bring in my water. I'm just going to bring it up here and come over. And I'm going to have the same kind of cylinder up in the attic. So this is my cold feed coming in. Where my cold feed is coming in, I'm going to have a valve on it. Coming in, little valve, coming down, my water. And I'm just going to put an overflow here. Sorry. Of course, water can't flow up or hill, but that's my overflow. This is diameter 15 mil. Rising. Same as before. Stop valve at the top and my overflow. Now, we're just looking at the hot water, so I'm going to kind of forget about the cold water system for the house. I'm just focusing on the hot water for now. So, from my overflow tank, it is going to come down in the direct system, in and into my hot part, or my hot water cylinder. Right, that's my cold water going into the hot water cylinder. When my cold water goes into the hot water cylinder, it's going to be heated up. So when my water is heated up, we are going to have a hot water supply coming out. Now, it's going to jump this over. That is an expansion. So that allows more heat. If the heat ever gets too much in my cylinder, it can flow up and go into the tank, and I can keep doing this circle the whole time. Now, they are diameter 22 secondary feed pipes. So both of these are diameter 22 millimeter secondary feed. Sorry. Both of these pipes. Now, but we're only focusing on the hot water in this question. So I'm going to take a branch off this, go over. Now we are going to, like before, our 3 pipes coming up. And then, of course, we need to take something down to our kitchen. Now, all of these pipes are going to be diameter 15 millimeters, except, like always, for our bath, which is diameter 22. So let's go wash and basin, diameter 15, and toilet, diameter 15. So 15 mil rise mains, 22 is my inner circle here, and 15 down and into my tap. Now, the only thing I'm missing is, how does this water get heated up? So to heat up my water in this system, we are going to have a boiler of some sort. So our boilers are usually located down the first floor. So my boiler is down here. We have 2 valves usually on the boiler. We're going to have a stop valve up on top. I'll do the normal valve system. And we will have a drain valve going in the very bottom. We will have our hot water supply coming down and back up and feeding back in. So, both these pipes, I'll just write it here, are diameter 28 millimeter. So they're my primary flow. And this down here is my boiler. So my water comes down, up here. Both these pipes are 22 millimeters. So what's happening in this system? Water from the attic goes down into my hot water cylinder. 135 litre hot water cylinder. Now, the water goes into the immersion. Right? More water comes down into the boiler heats up the water, pumps it back up and into the cylinder. Hot air or hot water is always rises further, so it's all at the top. The hot water is taken out, fed off into wherever I need to, and have an expansion going up on top. Now, the problem with this system is anytime you take any hot water out of it, you have to fill up all this whole thing with water again. So you're constantly heating all your hot water cylinder the whole time. So it's very expensive and not very efficient at all. Now, if we look at our indirect system, there is more pipe work, but it's a much better system. So can you see this one? Yeah. So my indirect hot water cylinder system. Now, same setup as before, ground floor, first floor, up into my attic. Right. So I am going to bring in my 15 mil up into my attic. I am going to have my 230 litre cylinder or cistern. On this, when it comes in, I'm going to have my valve so I can turn off the water, so if the house starts leaking or something, I'll have a way of coming off. I will have this, and I will have an overflow pipe. I'm just going to put, sure that shouldn't be rising, so that's my overflow. Again, we're going to take a branch off for our kitchen sink. Now, diameter 15 millimeter rising. Yep, that still looks like it's going okay. Now, we're focusing again just on the hot water. So that's as much and cold water kind of system I'm going to put in. Now, from my attic, it comes down. I have a little valve on it, so if I ever need to switch it off, I can. Going across and going into my hot water cylinder. Now, from this, it's going to get heated up, same as the last time. And I'm going to have my hot water going up. It's going to rise over this, up, over, and my overflow. So there's my water going up and around, the same as before. I'm going to take branches off and go to my usual tree. 1, 2, 3, and down across to my kitchen. So, pipes. We'll have bath, diameter 22, your wash hand basin, diameter 15, and your toilet, diameter 15, and your kitchen, diameter 15 millimeters. All of them in millimeters, same as before. I'm going to have my secondary feed, so this feed loop here, it's going to be diameter 22 millimeter secondary feed. Now, the difference between this system, so that's very similar to my direct system, and this indirect system is my water for this, filling up the tank cylinder, everything stays the same, but to heat up this cylinder, I'm going to take a branch out of the middle of it, going down, across, and it's going to go into my boiler, same as before. Now, from my boiler, I'm going to have a hot water coming up and in. Now, in here, what happens is there is a series of loops of cylinders, coils, going the whole way around. Now, the top ones are obviously going to be warm, the cold ones are going to be cold. So this is a closed loop going the whole way around. But like water will need to top this cold loop up the whole time. So like this is the cold water going into your cylinder, but this loop is kind of a separate loop the whole time going around. So we have to get a feed for this supply, and we're going to do that by putting another little cylinder up in the attic. So it's much smaller this time. It's going to be a 45 litre cylinder. Or cistern, sorry. Now, To get the cistern in, we are going to need water going into it, like before, and we will have another overflow. In case this keeps filling and filling, we need our water to go somewhere. Right. We will have a valve going in onto this, and that's let's just put it here. Diameter 15 millimeter, rising. So that could be another branch taken off this, just brought across, or it could be a separate one coming into the house, whatever way the plumber has that done. This cold water system is then going down the hallway and into my boiler. Oh, sorry, I forgot my valves. So there's a valve here, and we're going to have a stop valve up here. If we never switch it off, we're going to have a valve here in case I need to. So this is my primary feed of water. It's going to be a diameter 15 millimeter. So this small 15 litre or 45 litre tank fills up my boiler, only the boiler. So it's doing this loop the whole time. This water never touches any of the rest of the water in your house. These are diameter 28 millimeter primary flow. So primary feed coming down. So this isn't a closed system. So really all this is doing is heating the pipework the whole way along. So it's a way more efficient kind of system than any of the other ones that we talked about. Now, let's look at introducing solar panels or anything else into your house. So that is our indirect system, and that's the one most commonly used for and asked. Now, rather than redrawing out that whole thing again, I have this already drawn out from earlier on. Now, in this question, we are going to introduce, say, a solar panel. Now, it's hard to see, but there is actually ground floors coming in here. Here's my first floor, and my attic is up above, like before. There are my joists. Now I'm going to put my solar panel over on the right hand side. So everything is the exact same as any other question for this. I still have my boiler down here. 2 litre cylinder, hot water, my my feed coming into my house, diameter 15, rising main in. I'll have an overflow pipe coming out at the very bottom. Sorry, that should come down to that one. My secondary feed, so all this hot water is the same, diameter 22. My secondary feed going in. Your bath is diameter 20, everything else is 15 millimeters the whole way around. Secondary feed, your boiler, everything's the exact same. But when I introduce a solar panel, we're going to put a solar panel, say, here on my roof. Now, if you notice in the hot water cylinder, I've already pre-drawn this in. My coils for my boiler only go to the very top of the cylinder because we're going to have 2 feed systems coming into this house. So, from my solar panel, hot water is going to come in from the top. Now I need to get it over here, is the best way to do this. So, solar panel, hot water is going to come into the house. It's going to come over my rising main. It's going to come down, and it is going to go in. It's going to jump over these 2, and it is going to be fed in here into my hot water cylinder. We need cold water. Coming in, we'll do a couple of zigzags. This is going to go into the cold water system. It is going to come out, jump over. I'm going to jump it over, and I know this looks messy. It's going to go down across here, jump over my cold water, over and up and out into my system. Now, in solar panels, there's not water flowing around. There's a difficult material going around, magnesium liquid going around. So we need to be able to fill it. So we're going to have another valve here. And that's going to be a filling valve. Now, because this is a liquid, it expands and contracts. So just like here, if there's ever an expansion, too much warm water, it can go up and in. But in this system, we can't put the solar panel compound in, and it's really expensive, so we don't want to be wasting it. So on our cold feed, we're going to stick an expansion valve onto it. Expansion vessel. So in here, any cold water that I need, or any cold liquid that needs, can go in here, and it can either expand up and use that space, or it can reduce down. So that's my expansion vessel. Alright, so solar panels. What's actually happening? The sun is coming along, it's shining in on these panels. From these panels, the hot air, or the hot liquid, is coming around. Sorry, I forgot, I'll have a little valve on this. Where else I need a valve? I have two valves here, and in the middle of it, I'm going to have a pump. Because this isn't going to happen by itself. We're going to need to add in a pump to pump everything, to push the liquid around. So, sorry, solar panel. Hot liquid is going to come around. It's going to come down, be pumped by this so in or around into your cylinder. In your cylinder, zigzags across, the hot is going to heat up the cylinder, and then at the very bottom, you've got cold feed coming back out around, coming back over, and back up and into your system. If for any reason we have too much material or need something, we're going to have an expansion vessel for that extra material can come. And then if we ever need to fill it, we're going to have a filling point located into it. So everything else is the same, except my solar panel is going to be attached onto one side. Now, that is solar panels. Now let's just say your question asks you about geothermal. Exactly the same as before, like we've done the first one, our indirect system. We're going to have our boiler over here again. But in our geothermal system, we've got pipes going into the ground. Right? We're going to have a hot feed going down, or hot feed coming out of the ground, cold feed going into the ground. So like before, our cylinder has only our elements up here at the top half, because that's the bit that's always going to be working. Your boiler is always going to be producing on a, no matter what type of day it is outside, no matter what, your boiler can always kick in and feed this. So if I look at cold water coming into the cylinder, we are going to have, the best way of drawing this is, outside in my garden, I am going to have my heat exchange. So your heat exchange works by a number of coils, and they're encased in a big box. Now, in my heat exchange, I am going to have the cold in the cylinder and the hot in the cylinder. So my cold water is going to come across, come down, jump over this one, come down, go all the way over. I'm going to jump over this one, back out, and we're going to have a series of coils going around here. Then the hot coils from the other side will take over coils, and these are going to go back out and around and back up into my cylinder. So my coils are going to come back in, jump over that pipe, excuse me, come in, jump over that pipe, in, up we go, jump over that pipe, up and in. And just like before, I'm going to put some stop valves on it somewhere. And I'm going to put a pump on it, so that's going to pump everything the whole way around. So here we have your heat exchange from outside, heating the water that's going the whole way around. Now, the heat exchange is filled by water, or by our geothermal system. So our geothermal system is a series of pipes. So let's just do our spirals again. They are going to come out, and let's just say, for argument's sake, for this question, there's going to be 3 pipes. They're going to go down and into the ground, they're going to go down and into the ground, and they're going to go down and into the ground. What happens out is once they come into the ground, they get heated up, so they're going to come back up, they're going to go up, and they are going to be much warmer than when they come back up, and they're going to come back in and heat this up. So we're going to have, wherever pipe went down cold, it is going to come back up warm. So here's my system coming the whole way around. Now, in here, I'll just do it in pencil. These are going to be joined, but the water never actually joins. So I'll have a pump there, and my heat exchange here, and I'm going to have to put another pump there. So, what happens? Let's look outside first. I have my cold material. It is going down into the ground. Once it gets into the ground, it gets heated up, it comes up and around. And we'll think about 3 holes for this to happen. So that's going around that system. It's heating up this water. Once it gets in here, it's heating the top coils, which works through the heat exchange and comes over and heats our water system. This comes back up and it's another closed system going the whole way around the whole system. Now, for this one, it is water going in, so it doesn't, I'm nearly sure it's water going the whole way, so I don't need the expansion vessel like I would have before in this. So that's our geothermal. If we get asked for a wood pellet stove, we would just replace the word boiler here with wood pellet stove, but it works in the same system going the whole way around. So that's my geothermal system. Now, hopefully, yeah, you can still see all that. Good. So that's my geothermal heating system. Now, let's look at the rest of my house. So no matter what system it is, you're going to need radiators or an underfloor heating system to go along with it. So if I just take this system and we're just going with a boiler. So again, if the question asks you for a solar panel, you put in your solar panel, geothermal, put in geothermal. Air to water works the exact same way as my geothermal, except over here, sorry if this is air or water, it wouldn't have these pipes going down. It'd have a cold air supply going in and a cold air going in and warm air going out. No, it just sucks in, cold air going in and then condenses it down in this unit. But that's the same difference, or same thing, same pipe works that's needed. Let's look about what happens over here on the right hand side. So let's say I want to put radiators on my, let's draw this in actually so you can see it. So let's say from our boiler, we're coming down. I want to put radiators on my top floor and radiators on my bottom floor. So let's just put in, for argument's sake, 2 radiators top floor, 2 radiators on the bottom floor. So over here, we are going to have something similar kind of setup. I'm going to have hot water comes out of my boiler over. It is going to go up and it is going to feed the radiators into here and into here. I will have another hot water supply. It comes down here and goes over, not into the floor, and feeds these radiators. The warm water goes into the radiators, which means the cold water comes back out. Same over here, it's going to come down, over and out. Down. Jump in, and you are going to be fed back in here, and I'm going to have the same system here. It's getting a little bit hard to read, sorry. So I'll have my cold water coming down, back around into here. So hot water from your boiler comes out into your radiator. Your radiator cools down as it goes through it and comes around. Then the hot water, the other branch of the hot water goes the whole way around up here. That's my radiator system. They are diameter 22 pipes. Flow pipes. Sorry, flow pipes. So that's these ones. But the actual little ones that go up are diameter 15 millimeters. So the little ones that go in both the hot and the cold are diameter 15 millimeters. Excuse me. I forgot. We are going to have to put a pump on this to pump all the water around, because the water isn't going to go unless it's been pushed around somewhere. So on the cold supply, we put the water. Always you put the pump on the cold water supply, because it won't wear down the machine as much. Now, if, let's for example say you wanted, if I get another page, excuse me. So same setup as before. My boiler. Oh, excuse me. Actuators are gone huge at the moment. And if you look at most of the exam questions, you will see that they want an actuator put on to the question. Now what your actuator does is it controls the temperature in the room. So similar that we have in school, there's a thermostat in each room. So you have an actuator in each room. Now an actuator would be done in a different color. So I'm going to have to use a pencil for this one. So let's say downstairs you might have one thermostat. Upstairs you will have one thermostat. The thermostats then feed your actuator system. So I'm going to put my actuator system over here. Now this is all electrical work, so not to get confused, I'm going to use dotted lines to explain my actuator. So there's my actuator from the top one, and it'll basically say, oh, upstairs is too hot. My actuator from the bottom one, let's go across dotted lines, and it'll go into this system, dotted lines the whole way, and from my actuator I will have two pipe, they control valves, so electric valves that will either open or close this system. So let's say up here you want your upstairs to be say 18 degrees. Once the radiators up here reach 18 degrees, it will, your thermostat, thermostat, and that's thermostat, and that A is for actuator. Your stat, once it hits 18 degrees, is going to come back here to your actuator and say upstairs is 18 degrees, close off the valve going upstairs. So it'll come down to this electric valve and it'll knock it off. Similar downstairs, you might have it set say 20 degrees because you're living down there a bit more. So you're going to say once downstairs gets 20 degrees, this will say, right, it's 20 degrees now, it comes back to your machine says 20 degrees, switch off that valve. So it'll stop the whole system from flowing the whole way around. Sorry, that was that. With underfloor heating, it's the similar enough setup. If I get another page, I have one here. So let's go a question. We have underfloor, say upstairs, and no, sorry, underfloor downstairs and radiators upstairs. So we know radiators, we've just done it. Radiator, another radiator, put in my floor so you can see it. So upstairs radiators, we are going to have the exact same setup as before. We are going to have our hot water comes out up on top. It is going to go upstairs, come across, and it is going to go into each of the rads. Out of the radiators, I am going to have cold water supply coming down, out. It is going to come back over, down. Sorry, there should be a little jump on that. Over, jump, and in. I should have had a little jump on this one. Apologies. Now, downstairs we're going to have an underfloor heating system. So we are going to need our pipe set up for that. Now, it's very hard to do this really quickly like I have been doing, but it's a series of squares you are going to draw downstairs to represent it. So my hot water is going to go down, go across. So my hot water is going to feed, say, two systems. We're not going to go too mad here today. I'm just going to feed the outside loops. And then I'm going to have cold water coming in of this as well. And it's going to feed it as well. So this is why it gets a little bit confusing to draw. Now these pipes will never touch each other. Yeah, just like that. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time. There should be a jump mark on that. So we need to put on some flows on this as well. So same as before, we're going to have a pump and some valves. It'll be done on the cold supply. It would be done here. So sorry, there should be two valves there and a pump in the middle. Apologies, that won't fit in there. And the other thing that the question will probably ask you would be to do another thermostat on each one. So let's just put a stat there and a stat there. My actuator system over in the middle. These are electric lines, so I'm just going to put them dots for the time being. Electric lines coming over, going up, and they're just going to go pipes onto my hot water. So that's one going on. It's going to have a valve, and then the hot water down here. And there's my actuator. So that's the underfloor system downstairs and a radiator system upstairs. There should be, it's really hard to see, and I apologize, my drawing isn't great, but we'll have a valve on either side and a pump. The reason we have a valve on either side is if we need to replace the pump, we can pop it out at any time. And that is the heating system for underfloor and radiator. Okay, so I think that's all the plumbing kind of sorted for you. Most important thing, right, look at the indirect system. It's the most common one that comes up. Look at how your indirect system, cold water goes into your house through your rising main. You have your 2 cylinders up the top. One is 230 litres, one is 45. You have a 135 litre cylinder. None of them are of your pipe work. So your 28 mil primary feed, your 22 mil secondary feed, all pipes to appliances are 15 mil, except for a bat, which would be 22 millimeters. In here on your underfloor heating, this will all be underfloor will be diameter 22. Your pipe work up to your radiators would be 22 millimeters. Your radiators yourselves are 15 millimeters. How the actuator works, and yeah, for my boiler going across. Just one other thing, the 2019 question had solar panels and a boiler. So solar panels and a wood burning stove. So the only difference between solar panels and a wood burning stove is instead of the word boiler there, you are going to put in the wood burning stove. So a picture of a wood burning stove instead, but everything else remains the exact same system going there. Okay, hope that works. Any questions, let me know.